This morning, news spread quickly last night around the NBA about the announcement that the league is suspending its games at 9:33 Eastern. You saw the reaction there of Mark Cuban after he was shown an email from the league office announcing the suspension. Tom Rinaldi caught up with Cuban courtside.
This is crazy. This can't be true. I mean, it's not within the realm of possibilities. It seemed more like out of a movie than reality. I trust Adam. I mean, you know what? It's really not about basketball or money. I mean, literally, if this thing is just exploding to the point where, all of a sudden players and others have had it, you think about your family. You want to really make sure you're doing this the right way. This is much bigger than just the NBA. Hopefully we'll get to see, when we talk about getting the season back on track, that means all this got worked out, right? That maybe we understand more about it and it'll be, less of an issue for the entire country, for the entire world.
All right, the Basketball Hall of Famer and TNT analyst Charles Barkley is good enough to spend a few minutes with us on the phone this morning. Charles, we very much appreciate that, and I would just like to give you the floor first and foremost. What is your reaction to what we saw last night?
Well, number one, you guys are doing a fantastic job, especially on the fly, because this is unprecedented territory. It's scary. I just hope everybody's safe. This whole Rudy Gobert thing is scary because you guys did a fantastic job of showing where he's been like the last 10 days. I mean, they were in 5 or 6 different states in the last week. And I thank goodness they didn't let him play in that game last night because, Brian Windhorst said something great. Rudy Gobert he was questionable. He was going to play last night. You had the guy who officiated a Jazz game last week. He was going to work the Pelicans-Kings game last night. And these guys have been around their families. They've been around their kids. They've been around all the workers in the locker room. I think I give Adam Silver a lot of credit, man. Hey, let's shut this thing down and try to figure it out. And I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to get in trouble because I work for Turner and March Madness and CBS. I think the NBA, Turner Sports and CBS got to close down March Madness, man, because you can't have these players, even if there's no fans in the stadium, you can't have these players breathing on each other for 2 weeks. They're walking, even if they're at a hotel, they're going to be in different cities around the country. And I hate to say it, like I said, I probably shouldn't say it because I work for CBS. I think we're going to have to shut down March Madness until we know more.
Now, Charles, I think all of us on our set agree with that sentiment. I would like to voice what I know would be the opposition to it, however, for the sake of playing devil's advocate, which would be to say, these kids want to play in these games, and it is, for many of them, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. What do you say to someone who would pose that to you?
Well, I don't think that's the problem. I think that my company got to bite the bullet. Greenie, I know the kids want to play, but we can't have these kids. Like, think about it, Greenie. These kids are sweating, breathing, leaning on each other. That's crazy. And then even if you lose, you go back home. You don't know if you got the virus for a week or two. But the problem's going to be, I think, we pay $1 billion for March Madness. I think the right thing to do is for us to honor our contract. Because listen, if they play these games, it's really just about they want that $1 billion check. Let's be realistic. I think that we got to say, hey, you know what? Everybody's made a lot of money. We're going to have to bite the bullet because, that $1 billion pays for a lot of sports. I think we're going to have to bite the bullet and say, hey, you know what? These kids have been great to us forever. Let's pay the NCAA their billions of dollars, $1 billion, because that's what we pay for March Madness, because that pay for all the programs at the other at these schools. But we can't have these kids out there running and breathing on each other for 3 weeks. And like I say, because the problem is you can't test for it right away. And let's say you play, like these teams are still playing today, they could affect somebody when they go back home next week if they don't make March Madness.
Big brother, I really have to commend you for a person in your position that you would take that stand with that indomitable will that you just did. I think we have to save these kids from themselves. But, Chuck, how do you feel about this whole year in general? I mean, we've had the China situation, we've had the passing of David Stern, we've had the passing of Kobe Bryant. Now we have the coronavirus. It's just, it seems like one hit after another for the league.
Yeah, Jay Will, it's been a very difficult year with Commissioner Stern, man. That was a gut punch because I came into the league with Commissioner Stern, and he was amazing. Even when he was getting on my behind, he was amazing. And the thing with Kobe, when that happened, man, I just cried like a baby. Me and Kobe were not great friends, but if I felt like I lost a family member, and then to lose his young, beautiful daughter and those 7 other souls, it's been a very difficult year. And this thing here, we're all like, I want to tell you, you guys are doing an amazing job. All I can do is watch you guys, and nobody has the answers. We're trying to handle all these what ifs on the fly. But I think the best thing would be like, hey guys, we have no idea what the hell is going to happen next. Let's shut everything down and let's take a deep breath, because right now, we can't have these players out there affecting themselves, the referees. I mean, because like I say, I'm not going to act like I know anything about being a doctor, but to have these big old dudes out there sweating on each other, breathing on each other for the next 3 weeks, that can't be safe in any shape or form.
Charles, you're not going to get in trouble because you're showing leadership, which is what we need from people in power right now. Just because the post gets postponed doesn't mean it's not going to get played. We're going to change the calendar here, but we're going to have to pause. We're going to be okay. Look, I swear, if you look what's happened in Korea and look what's happened in China, we're going to be okay. Obviously, people are going to be affected, but we're going to be okay. We're going to be able to get back to it. But there needs to be leadership right now to mitigate it. The leadership that is shown in sports and in the government, but that's a different topic. In sports, in the next few hours, can set the tone for the way this is going to go. And so I commend Charles for showing leadership, and I encourage others who have power to show the same leadership.
Charles, do you believe that
Brian,
Go ahead, Charles, sorry.
Let me just say this, Brian, and Jay and Greeny, one of the greatest things in our lives is we all make a lot of money because of sports. But the negative thing about it is everybody wants the money. Everybody's following the Greeny. It's going to take tremendous courage because a lot of people make a lot of money on March Madness. And the NCAA's got this. Like I say, I think that CBS, who I work for in Turner, I think we should honor our deal. And like I say, it's not my $1 billion check to write. I understand that. But we got to look at the big picture. We got to show leadership. But like I say, it's all going to come down to the almighty dollar. I hate to say that, but that's just a fact. And like I say, I've never had $1 billion, so it's not mine to give away. But listen, I just think the right thing to do is say, hey, guys, let's break this thing off. Wendy, you had a great point. We might pick it up in a couple weeks with March Madness, the season. But right now, we need to take a pause, let the doctors do their thing. But the first thing we need to do is see who all's infected. That's the thing that's scary about this whole thing. Nobody knew Rudy Gobert was infected for 24 hours ago. And he's been in 6 or 7 states the last 2 weeks. We need to get everybody, the TV announcers who travel with these NBA teams and these college teams, we need to take a step back and say, hey, guys, before we do anything, we're going to test every single player in college and pros, and then we'll get back to you on what's next.
May Madness sounds just as good as March Madness.
Yeah, Charles,
exactly.
I can't tell you how much we all appreciate you doing this morning.
Well
Thank you
done,
very
man.
much. Be well, and we will see you soon.
Hey, guys, this is unprecedented territory. Good luck.
Thank you.
Love you, brother.
Thank you. It's Charles Barkley with us. Again, remarkable. And yes, and as he said, it's not his check to write or our check to write and all the rest of that. I do think that I think maybe the thing that I would agree the most with, if I could give my quick thought here, is that just stopping everything for a moment and taking a breath. It is much easier to postpone things than it is to cancel them. You can always cancel something later. So I think if everyone just sort of steps back, takes a breath, see where everything goes. Absolutely. So much has changed in the last 48 hours. Who knows where we'll be 48 hours from now?
We're going to be okay.
I agree. I do think we need to recalibrate what our protocol is for, reporters that travel with teams and things of that sort. We need to get more testing first in place to do so. I
was just being told in my ear we will have Mark Cuban live in a half hour. Okay, so Mark Cuban live at 9:30 Eastern time this morning, 8:30 in Dallas. So we will get the reaction of one of the NBA owners live as we continue. It is is an unprecedented day, certainly in the NBA and in sports as we know it. Rudy Gobert tests positive for the coronavirus. The NBA has suspended its season, and our coverage continues in just a moment. You're watching Get Up on ESPN.